Greetings, everybody. So I'm gonna just say the topic first. So, why are so many traditional schools, and I mean karate schools mainly, found in community centers? What gives? Why is it that when you want to look for a legitimate karate school, as in Japanese karate or traditional school, half the time you find them in a basketball court? Why? Why don't they have a dojo, a real dojo? Now, granted, a dojo can be anywhere. It can be any building. It can be any place that people gather and learn the way together, as in dojo. However, why is it that they're always in community centers? Why don't you see a dojo? If karate is so good and so awesome and so valuable and so important, why is it that they're in community centers and not in an established facility that they build and improve and make for the sake of having the full flexibility to train the entire element and all the facets of the art without worrying about what the community center is going to tell you what you can and can't do, whether it's the scheduling, the timing, days, if there's times they close down, you can't go to your class because you're restricted by the community center's policies and rules. Whereas if you had your own dojo, your own facility that you specialize in what you're doing, why don't you see that very much? You see a bunch of stuff out there, but you don't see dojos too much anymore. The pandemic has really, hindered, a lot of things, but at the same time, we can still survive. I mean, I'm doing it. Everyone else can too. So it's a matter of determination. But most senseis, for some reason, think they're doing a service to the art by just doing it in a community center. And then they have their job that 9 to 5 job that feeds them, but they don't take that leap to be full-time sensei. And then they say, yeah, it's not profitable, or it's not a good business to endeavor in, or whatever. Well, any business takes overcoming challenge, and you need to have a plan, and you need to know what you're doing, and you have to have a product and branding and an image. So this is where it's a conflict. When people that teach karate teach about, self-improvement, determination, dedication, commitment, courage, having no fear, respecting people, and at the same time not fearing obstacles, overcoming. But you can't even overcome the idea of running a dojo. You're stuck in teaching a community center because it's easier, rather than save your money, get a spot to rent, advertise, market your dojo, build it, charge what you're worth, and promote the art the right way. You need to be the example of what you're teaching. If you're teaching kids to follow your lead, how are you teaching them to be successful if all you're teaching them is, you're teaching them respect and discipline and follow through on the technique, but how are you teaching them that if you can't even commit to running a dojo? You're afraid to open a dojo as a business. No matter what. At the end of the day, if you want to show people what it means to be successful, it's not about how many students you have, because I could charge $1 a month and have 1,000 students, right? Will they stay? Maybe, maybe not. What are you promoting when you can't even show your own success as a martial artist? And success doesn't mean how much money you make. I look at success as doing what you love without holding back, not letting anything get in your way, and still do what you love and promote those ideals to those students that you teach. Not tucking tail and saying, well, I have a community center, but I don't have equipment, I don't have a brand, I don't have a logo, I just have an affiliation to some Japanese guy or Korean guy or whatever, and then I don't even have a dojo. What does that tell your students? What kind of future is that showing your students? You're not showing them that there's a future in martial arts. And then the public goes to YouTube to find karate schools, or they want to see the most traditional karate possible, and they see people on a basketball court. They don't even have mats. They don't even have their own sign. Now, there are schools that do exist, but how many? In my city, in Fontana, there are maybe 2 or 3 dojos, 220,000 people. And I'm basically one of 2 or 3 karate schools. And out of the karate schools that exist, I'm the only one that doesn't have a 9-to-5 job, because I choose to be a sensei on all levels. And I choose to be able to train and practice and do what I love doing without having the restrictions. Even though my life does have a lot of restrictions, imagine if I had a 9-to-5 commitment as well. I would never be able to have a dojo. Community centers were shut down, all that kind of stuff. So what gives? So why do we see people in community centers all the time? It's always kind of in my mind, and it's always bugged me, because you've got people that do jiu-jitsu and MMA and taekwondo and all kinds of stuff, and they all have academies or a gym. But karate people don't. What's the reason? All I can say is we need more people to take that leap and get out of the community center, because you're not teaching anyone how to be successful if you're just in a community center. You're not showing people that being a sensei is even a worthy career by doing that. Nobody believed me when I said this is what I wanted to do, and everybody doubted me, my family included. Nobody thought it was a viable career. And I had to learn business on my own, and I had to learn things on my own. Nobody taught me. I'm self-taught, everything, apart from my karate with my senseis. But they didn't teach me business. They didn't teach me how to open a dojo. I had to learn. And the examples that I had, every single example that I had of a dojo were by people that are all closed down now. Every one of my senseis don't have a dojo. Not a single one. Why? So yes, their art and their skill and their teachings to me as a style and a martial art, yes, of course, amazing. But which one of my senseis have a dojo till this day? Not one. That's where I have a problem, is how can I continue? Now, granted, there's, your sensei gets older in age, whatnot, but I'm speaking from a standpoint of how many people have a sensei that's still alive that does not have a dojo. And you will find if they're not old in age, or if they don't have any health issues, most of the time they're not teaching anymore, because they can't make a living, because they didn't adapt to the times, or for some reason they didn't know how to keep a dojo going. I'm proud that I'm representing my senseis, all of them. I have a few, but I find it hard and disappointing when no one else is in a dojo. The ones that are running karate classes, they're in community centers, which don't promote the art, that show you how it can't be possible. It's a charitable thing. It's a cheap thing. It's not a worthy endeavor. You have to have a 9-to-5 job if you want to do that. I don't believe in that. I believe that if you have something worthy and you have something valuable, offer it and go full time into it, because it's worth it. That's what I believe. So it is something that has bothered me for a long time, for many years. And I find myself as the only dojo in my area promoting the art and advertising in my city. No other dojo advertises. I'm the only one. That's another problem. So take it from me. I'll do another video on how to survive a pandemic and how to actually grow in a pandemic as a traditional dojo, but that's another video.